Drake's Fortune versus Tomb Raider, the definitive edition, Uncharted collection. Let's jump right into it. First, we're going to look at the environments for both games. Right now, we're looking at Drake's Fortune environment. It looks beautiful, stunning, has a nice little dark feel to it. And with Tomb Raider, you can see more of a mist type feel with the fog and the trees moving with the weather elements in here. Nice sunlight, but this is more like it seems like the sun is setting. Look at the fireflies. And now we go back to Tomb Raider. Look at the water stream. Shadows look real good. And for Uncharted Drake's Fortune to look like this, with even with the remastered, it's still astonishing to me because this game came out 2007, 2008. So this still looks, it holds up pretty well to even a definitive edition Tomb Raider. And Tomb Raider looks good. Don't get me wrong. It really, really looks good. And I played the game. It was cool. It was alright. She just cried a little bit too much for my take after she killed everybody. But mechanics is pretty good in Tomb Raider. But we're gonna get to that in a little bit. Let's take a look at more of Drake's. Like the environments just look lush. They look fresh. The shadows, the lighting right there. You can tell the sun is setting down. So I like that little detail. And when you go into a dark environment, it looks dark. But let's look at the cinematics here for Tomb Raider. And I'm going to critique something right here. The characters, other than Lara Croft, they got no attention at all. He looks like a claymation. It looked like a clay. Look at his arm. His jacket is circled around his arm, his hand. Why is it not hanging? Where's the physics to that? Why is his coat stuck to his body? Even with Uncharted, the clothes don't look stuck. They have a lot of detail, wrinkles to it. Like when you actually move with Drake, you can see the wrinkles, moving in the back, which is pretty decent. And Uncharted Drake's Fortune, every character got attention to detail. It wasn't just Drake and that was it. And everybody looks like, they're made out of clay and grease and stiff clothes that don't have no physics to it. It's like he's wearing a big giant coat. You can see the detail in the footprints, how wet it looked. Now, we're going to go into the gameplay mechanics. The cover system for Tomb Raider is really not a cover system. It's kind of like a poor version of The Last of Us. It's not really a true cover system. You just stay behind it. And the shooting mechanics is pretty good. Now, the bow and arrow is badass. I'm not going to front it. It is badass to shoot a couple of enemies with the bow and arrow. But you can see the cover system is not true. It's not like she's completely, putting herself or using it too much as a shield. She's just like ducking behind her more so than using it as cover. The way The Last of Us did it, even though you used it as cover, you still would. It wasn't like completely covered, but it would still give you an advantage to shoot or duck, or you could point the gun out. So that was pretty cool. But Tomb Raider, it doesn't really use it too much of a cover system. Like she'll just jump behind her and hide, which kind of sounds weird. But the shooting mechanics in the Tomb Raider was pretty good in the definitive edition, so it's pretty decent. Stealth, yeah, you can see me doing some stealth kills. Now, Uncharted 1 stealth kill was not as good because it was the first iteration of the first one. But don't worry, this is part one of the comparison between Tomb Raider and Uncharted. But now look at Drake's Fortune. The shooting mechanics is just so much better with the Uncharted collection. Like I'm running around here, blowing these dudes up. Nice shooting mechanics. Feels good. No screen tearing. Smooth 60 frames. You can see here the grenade throwing is really good too. I like the arch you can throw with. Look at the explosion. Look at that. That is pretty good for a game that came out 2007, 2008. That's pretty decent. I mean, Uncharted was doing some pretty decent things back then with the first one. And this is one of my favorite moments in Drake's Fortune. Like, I love this part right here. Like, just driving through the jungle and just blowing stuff up. You got the enemies coming in. Look at this Doom. He blew his ass up. And then boom, boom. Look at the trees falling. Stuff getting destroyed. I like that. That's amazing. You see other trees knocking other trees over. That is freaking cool, man. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. This is just part one. I'm going to do two, Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 comparison with Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. So keep your eyes out for that. So this is just part one. What do y'all think? Y'all think Drake's Fortune holds up pretty well? Because I think it holds up pretty well against the Definitive Edition. Tomb Raider does look good, but